Bada boom, bada bing. What's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's happening? Another episode of Gas Station Podcast. We back in the building. Yes, sir. We back in the building. Where my daughter's alma mater. She's in college down here in Jersey. So I wanted to say a shout out to them. How's everybody doing, man? Welcome back to the Gas Station Podcast Legacy Move. I haven't been on in a while, in about a week, man. I've been working, man. I got a job and been busy. And it has been a blessing to be on that job. It has been a blessing to be doing that work, and I enjoy it, man. And today I want to talk about how that has kind of changed the structure of my life. And today we're going to talk about good is the enemy of great. And that is what this episode of the Gas Station Podcast is going to be about. Good is the enemy of great. And have you got your 3 W's, y'all? Have you got your 3 W's, man? Make sure you get your 3 W's there every day. Gas Station Podcast, fuel and ground for the mind, the body, and the soul. You know, the 3 W's help you every day, even when I'm not on here, to get you to fuel your mind, your body, and your soul. 30 minutes word, 30-minute workout, 30 minutes wisdom every day. Don't miss a day. Don't miss a day. That's 7 days a week. Ritual. That should be a habit that you do every single day. Good is the enemy of great. I've been a hustler all my life. Never really had been in a structured situation. And so I'm in a structured situation now. And I'm utilizing my degrees because I have my degrees and amongst other things. So I put myself in a situation where some of the things I've done in my life, I'm gonna be able to utilize them, and hopefully I put myself in position where I could be, where I could use some of my training and some of my tools to help me excel even further in life. And so, and I see opportunity where I'm at. Another type of opportunity. And the opportunity that I see is not so much money, because I don't move on money. I move on love, and I'm not going to do nothing that I don't want to do. I'm not going to do nothing that I don't want to do. And you shouldn't do anything, because if you do stuff that you don't want to do, you're going to do it half-hearted. And if you move on money, then you'll steal, kill, and destroy for money. So if money is your purpose, then you're if you see an opportunity that you think that you some people take risks, and some people might see an opportunity that they think they can get away with and steal something. And so that's what the mentality of doing things for money gets you. God has given all of us a talent and a skill set, and we need to work on that. Good is the enemy of great, man. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And one thing that I learned where I'm at, because I'm real good at what I'm doing. I'm real good at hustling, selling, making money, and doing a lot of things. And I know this about myself. And I've always been this way. And so this is nothing new. But I've always lived an undisciplined, unstructured life. And so my hustle mentality, I don't have to be in this situation, because, I'm still going to do good regardless whether I'm in it or not. Let's see, what this is going to do is this is going to take me to the next level. I almost broke down, and I'm going to tell y'all a secret. I almost broke down and cried at my job recently, because I realized this is what I needed to take me to the next level. I needed structure and discipline and training and experience. I needed structure, discipline, and training. Had nothing to do with me because I got all kind of things going. I sell cars, I sell houses, I buy tax liens, I trade stocks every day. So that is not internet businesses. I write books, but I've always lived an unstructured lifestyle. So an opportunity came for me, I chose to take it. And the timing fit me perfect. Plus, and I didn't even think of it in these terms when I took it. It just, everything aligned itself. I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot and see how it goes. And everybody betted on me that I was not going to keep it because of the fact that I ain't never went to no workplace to work. Plus, I believe time is money, and I never want to be stuck on nobody else's time all day. I wanted my time. Plus, I already knew how to make money, so I don't have to. So I didn't. So I thought in those terms. Good is the enemy of great. And so now I'm in a situation where I'm forced to have to bring structure and discipline to my life. And that was why I almost broke down and cried, because I've never had that structure and that discipline. And let me tell you something. Idle time is the devil's workshop. Idle time is the devil's workshop. Sometimes we pray and we want all of this free time and it's idle time. But this idle time, we all live in the garden. And if we're idle, our garden grows. But our garden doesn't grow with structure and discipline. Our garden grows weeds, thickles, thins, and those weeds, thickles, thins represent bad habits. And bad decisions. So when a valley moment hits us, because we all gonna have highs and lows, but when a valley moment hits us, we're never prepared because we are out of line and we are out of structure. So today we're gonna talk about how and why structure is so important. And I always use this analogy when I talk about it. You got somebody who's naturally gifted, and we see these naturally gifted people. And we think that naturally gifted people, we see it, the 5%ers, that naturally gifted people are 5%. The LeBron James of the world, these naturally gifted people are maybe 5%, maybe even bigger, maybe 10%. We'll just say 10%. 10% of the world. The LeBron James and them, those are 1%. They probably not even 1%. They probably less than the 1% because they took their natural gift and they maximized it. Most people who have a natural gift never maximize it. They're just good at what they do. And that's what I was. I was somebody who was just good at what I do. I was one of those people who have never really maximized my gift because I was just good at what I did. So I felt like I didn't need to train. I didn't feel like I needed no structure. I felt like I didn't need no help. I felt like I was in practice. I felt like that too. Because I started real young and I was successful. I didn't start old and was successful. I started very, very young, 13 years old, and was successful. Amongst my peers. I wasn't successful. I was successful I was one of the top tier amongst my peers. Let me reiterate that. It's very important. I was one of the top tier amongst my peers in the time and in the space that I was in that time. And so I was always naturally good, and I was naturally glorified, or people always patted me on my back for the little short-term successes I had. So, that energized me to keep doing what I was doing. Basically was, making money. I did some great things. I did some bad things in my life. You understand me? But, for the most part, I've never maximized my gifts because I lived an undisciplined, unstructured lifestyle. And so what I've learned is I always use this analogy, man. You have somebody who's, when we were kids, I don't know. When we were kids, we used to have people who were good, just naturally good in sports, natural athletes. Good fighters, we just call them good fighters and stuff like that, because that's what we glorified back home where I'm from. And so then we had some people who wasn't so good fighters. They didn't know how to fight that well. I was one of those people who, I wasn't naturally a good fighter, but I always had heart. I always stood up, for what I believed in. So, I never really had to be a good fighter because I always stood up to the challenge or to the bully. I never was scared, and so that helped me out a lot. And I never was scared to take risks, and that helped me. And that also messed me up a lot. And it also landed me in prison for a long time because I took unnecessary risks. I took stupid risks that I didn't need to take. And it landed me up in bad situations. Living an unstructured, didn't want structure, didn't want nobody to tell me what to do, didn't listen to authorities, But when I got put in a structured situation in prison, I read books, I learned how to keep my area clean, how to, because we had inspection every day. And I used, why we got to have inspection every day? I was one of those types, because I wasn't used to no structure. I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to follow the rules. It took me 3 years in prison to start following the rules. Trying to figure out how to circumvent the rules, trying to figure out how not to do what I was supposed to do. But I started reading in prison. Started educating myself in prison. I was a 9th grade dropout. And I end up getting to make a long story short, I have my master's degree. Now I'm working on my PhD. But through that 12 years in prison, I learned structure. But when I got back out, my natural instincts but I practiced. And so I always tell people like, man, Dominic, you crazy. Why do you always say prison was good? Because it was good for me, because it helped me get some structure. And it helped me understand why what I'm going through right now is so important in my life. Again, at 50 years old. And how this is going to change the trajectory of my life because I have a different attitude going into it. And so what I did was we always, let me get back to the story. So you always had your people who were naturally gifted, and you had your people that wasn't so gifted, and you understand me. But also, what I learned, you had your people who had to learn how to do certain things. The people who were learned, the people who are trained, always outperforms the naturally gifted. who doesn't want to train and think that his natural gift will carry him. And that was my problem. I was a naturally gifted hustler who was untrained and didn't want nobody to train him because I already thought I had it. And I knew what the fuck I was doing. So now, to make a long story short, they call that good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great, because I was so good at what I did, I never could transition to greatness because of my narcissistic, egotistic, know-it-all attitude that I wasn't willing to listen, learn, or humble myself to develop structure and to get in a system that works and to be trained properly. Get my great skills to be trained properly. But one thing God has revealed to me, all of us have that greatness in something. You may not have the same greatness I got. I don't have the same greatness that others got. I don't have the basketball skills LeBron has, or the football skills Saquon Barkley has. But we all have something that God has instilled in us that is great. But the thing about it is we don't want to be. Are we going to maximize our greatness by stepping down to step up and to structure ourselves, or to learn structure to develop our skill set? Or are we just going to be naturally good and never transition to greatness because our ego and our lack of humility will allow us to get under mentorship or authority where we can be trained properly to take our skill set or our gift to the next level? And this is what I learned when I came into this situation I'm in now, this job situation. What I was missing was humility, structure, a system for success. But see, I can't just get it instantly. It's not an instant success. I have to sit here. I have a 3 and an 8 year rule that I go by with everything. You got to be there 3 years. To put yourself, to get yourself to the level where it becomes a part of you. And you have to be there 8 years to become a master at what you're doing. It takes you 3 years. Because see, in a 3 year period, you get your highs and your lows. Your body, it's going to take 3 years to get you totally conditioned. Where that structure will follow you the rest of your life. Like playing a piano, you got to practice that piano 3 years before. 8 years, you become an expert. I mean, you can learn the piano in a day, learn a note or two, but you're not going to be a proficient piano player unless you play that piano every day for 3 years. You're not going to, they call a journeyman, you got to be a journeyman for 3 years. You got to go to college you got to learn something for 3 years. The 3 year period is the learning period. It's developing the structure, developing the getting your muscles in condition for game time, for the stage. Being proficient at your work. 3 years, man. I tell people anytime they come to me with a business idea, something, call me back in 3 years. Once you're there for 3 years, I know you'll be there. I have a 3-year rule on relationship. I don't trust no relationship. Because see, everybody's there on a high moment. In 3 years, you're going to have some low moments. You're going to have some broke moments. You're going to have some trials you're going to go through. Then that's when you know who's going to be around. I don't trust nothing for 3 years. I live on a 3-year rule, man. So now I done put myself in this structured situation. It's new. I've been there a month. And so that's kind of why I haven't been doing my podcast. Well, I'm still doing my podcast. I'm going to be doing more now since I'm starting to get acclimated to this new system I'm in. But I almost broke down in there and cried because I realized this what I've been missing, the structure. And it has nothing to do with the money or anything that I'm making. It has to do with replacing my time and getting myself out of the devil's den all day. What is the devil's den? What is the devil's den? I make enough money to pay my bills and take care of me and put some money up and do my trading every day. I wake up in the morning, do my trade for a couple hours. Then I'm on the internet, looking at the newest Louis and Gucci's come on sale. Then I'm on the internet looking at the girls. All day, scrolling. Because I ain't got shit to do. Or somebody coming over here and I'm giving them some money to do this or that. Man, they can't come over here all day looking for a handout or a bag or do some work. Because I'm gone all day. I'm at work. I'm at work all day. I'm not at home all day where people can come over and snake me out a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Which you think is no big deal. But over time, it adds up. It adds up. Over time, you keep indoctrinating yourself. Now they got these new algorithms and this new data where as soon as you look at something, a new pair of Gucci's, a new pair of Louis, a new pair of this, a new pair of that, and somebody just bring up, and when you don't buy it, then they gonna hit you about that 5th or 6th time. They gonna break it down and put it on 25% off. And you say, oh man, I got to buy it this time. I got to buy it this time because it's on 25% off. How can I not beat that? Next thing you know, you're buying something. But guess what, man? I'm at work all day. I ain't got time to be sitting on the internet looking at women all day. I ain't got time on the internet to be looking at shit I can buy because I'm a shopaholic. I'm busy. And I'm learning structure. And a lot of those bad habits I had from a lot of free time all day long is now being occupied space with work. And on top of that, I'm receiving a reward for the work that I'm doing. And for that, I'm also learning, and I'm in a position of growth that can literally take me to retirement if I choose to stay there. And in 3 years, I have a skill set that I can go to Miami with. It's gonna be easy for me to go to Miami. If I want to just get a job, I can go to Tampa. I can go to Dayton, go to Savannah. I can go. I like beach areas, so when I talk Houston. I go to Houston, go back home to Houston or something. Go to LA. I like beach and hot weather. So I'm talking. So when you hear me talk, I'm talking, and also I'm learning another language. So I can actually take my talent overseas, do the same work, make money, and I'll be bilingual because I'm learning Spanish and I'm almost fluent. And I can still write my books, and I can still run my businesses, and I can still trade stocks while I'm overseas. So I got skill sets where I can still do my trading, I can still write my books, I can still do my YouTube, and I can also take the talent down. Even better than that, I can take the structure that I've learned and developed that is now becoming a part of me. And I'm also killing off the bad habits because I'm busy in a structured situation all day. When I come home, all I want to do is spend my time with my family, my children, and I'm ready to go to bed. And now they got this programming where they are sending it to you, and they gonna let you see it over and over and over and over until you buy it. Until they separate you from one of where is your number one resource, and that's your money. Good is the enemy of great because we become so good and we doing that we don't want to get the disciplines and the structure and the training to become great. Each and every one of us has a talent, has a skill that God has embedded in each one of us, because he needs each and every one of us to have individual skill sets so we can help grow his planet Earth and his world that he has created. Because now we're going beyond planet Earth. But if you don't recognize your gift, your skill, and humble yourself to be trained up in your skill, to have your skill be developed, you will always be good and you will never be great. I just hate it took me till I was 50 years old to learn these lessons, because I was the first one talking about I wasn't gonna never have no job working for somebody. I was the first one talking about I wasn't gonna have no job working for somebody. But guess what I decided? To humble myself and make legacy moves. I decided to humble myself and make legacy moves, man. We all have to make legacy moves, man. We all got to humble ourselves and recognize our gift. I'm not big on trying to develop something that ain't really our gift. I'm big on developing your gift. That's the reason why on all teams you have different positions. On God's team, we all have different positions. You got quarterbacks, you got linemen, you got tackles, you got defensive players, you got defensive line, you got safeties, you got wide receivers, you got running backs, you got coaches, you got medicine guys, you got the towel boy, you got the water boy. All of these are integral parts of a team. And all of them have value. If they didn't have any value, they wouldn't be there. And all of them receive a reward and a paycheck. Get some structure. Understand that you need to be working and honing your skills, your skill set for God's kingdom. And you also need to be learning and understanding that it is important. It is very important to recognize, to be great, you gotta be humble. To be great, you have to have structure. To be great, you have to take that lethal skill that God has given you and get it trained properly. Don't just naturally be able to run fast and not get it developed. Don't just naturally be able to hustle good or to sell without developing it. Whatever your skill set is, whether it's a teacher, whatever it is, work on developing it. Every day I watch videos on speaking better, on leadership, on development, on teaching skills. Because that's what I do on the internet. So every day I'm learning how to get better at my skill set. Every day I trade. So every day I'm watching videos on how to become a better trader. I'm a hustler. So now I got a job in sales. So I'm learning how to sell properly. Sometimes less is more. Because I'm learning skills and I'm developing, honing my skills that I'm going to be able to take anywhere in the world and utilize and make what I have better. Man, make sure you get your 3 W's every day. Your word, your wisdom, and your workout. Make sure that you don't stay good at what you do. Learn to be great at what you do. Listen to it from an older head. Listen to somebody who is learning and developing and always trying to become better at what I do, and are learning and is learning to be more humble in my attitude, because I have to also put myself in structured situations and systems that will, so I don't just look at just the paycheck or what I can say. I'm looking at the system, and I'm learning the whole system, because I want to know, because I'm more interested in why wasn't I quite as successful as I could have been? And what am I missing so I can become better, and how I could build my craftsmanship up. I don't go in there to steal the pencils, the pens, or to try to see what I can snake somebody out of, or see how I can make some more money. I'm learning the system. I know how to make money. So if that's what I'm going in there for, I don't need to be there. I'm going in there for the structure and the system. And how can I turn from good to great? How can I take my skill set and who I am to the next level? And in 3 years, we'll talk about this again. Because like I say, I don't trust nothing until I've been there 3 years. But I wanted to tell you my journey, part of my journey. This is a new phase of my journey that I really have never been in. But guess what? I'm loving it already. And I see that this is the part of my journey. This was a step I missed years ago. Being under mentorship and tutelage. That I'm having to get late because I missed it when that time or that window I should have been getting this part of the journey as a young man. Getting that structure, discipline, and system in place. So, man, y'all stay tuned, man. Y'all stay tapped in, man. Legacy Moves, Gas Station Podcast, man. Fueling ground for the mind, the body, and the soul. Do not despise humble beginnings, because I had to take 10 steps back to make 100 steps forward. And I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the journey. And my skill sets, the things that I'm doing, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make my skill sets and what I got going on even better. And I don't go into anything without greatness, because I don't want to be nowhere that I got to give a half-ass job, or I have to be, or I take away from the environment. I want to give to the environment. Legacy Move, Gas Station Podcast, man. Y'all tap in, man. Go from good to great. Be great at what you do. Don't go nowhere if you're going to give a half-ass job. Don't go nowhere if you're going to be sorry. Don't go nowhere if you cannot find a way where you can become better at what you're doing and you're developing a skill set. Legacy Move, Gas Station Podcast. From good to great, man, we are out. Hey, said it's the gas